good evening, and happy Memorial Day to everyone. This is Jake and Mindy with the scene, and we are here on a Monday, May 26, 2025. And again, I just want to give the uh, all the honors to our servicemen and women, um, past, present, and future, who have given their lives for this country. Um, I may not agree with a lot of what's going on in it. Um, but there's one thing that I can agree on is that soldiers, Marines, airmen, sailors, guardsmen alike, they all fight for this country and they put their lives on the line. So take a moment to acknowledge them, even if you don't know any that have passed, despite any circumstances. With that being said, let's get started with the show. All right, so Mindy, did you do anything good? Did you do anything special for Memorial Day?
I exercised my freedom to sleep.
Okay, okay. I mean, there's something. You know what I mean? Some people frown upon everyone making memorial. You know, people doing the whole barbecues and everything, and that's what that's what they fixate on. Um, I personally use it as another chance to spend time with my family. Um, and I feel like that's what service members serve for. You know what I mean? So we can have those freedoms.
So it's interesting. I tend to forget that people barbecue on Memorial Day.
Yeah, that's because you see, if you lived where I lived
Um,
at, you get invited to a barbecue and you wouldn't forget.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's not a standard thing, right? Like I didn't grow up doing it. We didn't do anything for Memorial Day. It was just another day I had to do my homework and do other stuff that I had to do every day growing up. Um, and so it's just not it's not something that is conditioned, I guess, yet for me to kind of besides recognizing it kind of, I guess, on social media and things like that, it's not really something that sticks with me. But I think most holidays don't really stick with me like that.
Okay, that's fair enough. Usually for us, like in my household, Memorial, most holidays, like once we get to summer, it's literally a
Hmm,
reason
hmm.
for us to barbecue. That's just how it's always been.
That would be awesome if but we are also the only family in the United States. So, like my immediate family is the only family that we have in the United States.
Well, see where I'm at. Like I got. Dang, do your parents not believe in like having friends or something?
We are not allowed to have people over. Friends are superficial. They are only for work show. I wasn't allowed to have a social life. They said that wasn't important.
The more you tell me, the more depressed I get.
I
That's
mean,
that's depressing. Like Jesus.
yeah, no, friends are like at the bottom of the totem pole as far as priority goes when you're in school. School is your job. That is your priority.
I'm talking about your
Even fa
parents. Do they not
but yeah,
have
but
friends?
no, because they're instilling the same beliefs, bro. Right? Like it's not like they're telling us to be crazy. They're just telling us to be like them. So in their minds, school would be of the utmost priority. Family even doesn't even come first. It's school first when you're in school. Just like when you're working, it's work first and then family.
I mean, I
It's
get that, but they don't like they didn't like after all of their success and whatnot, they didn't make any friends at work to like
they
go
have
to a
colleagues.
barbecue.
They have colleagues.
That's crazy.
The only time my mom got to go to barbecues because she got invited to the cookout was when she was working at a grocery store, and ended up making friends and colleagues that were black, and so she got invited to the cookout. And but it's that was like a super brief period in her life. Now she just sits at home again.
All right. Well, hey,
Yeah.
if it works, it works. I guess. Couldn't be me. I didn't even do a super big barbecue this year. You know what I mean? Because like it kind of this Memorial Day kind of hits a little heavier for me.
Right.
Um, being that I've had a soldier that's fallen, and she was my soldier, and now like that's rotating in my mind every so often, um, especially on a day to acknowledge. I mean, I still went and hung out with my family. I took my niece and nephew today to see Lilo and Stitch this morning.
That's
Uh,
right.
Me and my wife did. Um,
How was that? How was that?
it was good. I mean, it was all right. I suppose it wasn't a bad script. The actors were good, and they added a favorite actor of mine, a favorite. I guess she might be Pacific Islander. I always just thought she was just some type of Asian. But I guess she might be Pacific Islander, and then when you go see the movie, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about without me even having to say it.
Okay, okay.
Um, she was in the film, and she wasn't in the original show. I just have the question of like, why don't they just stick with the source material when they do live actions? Like, why
They
all the
need
changes?
because they want it to be slightly different because they also get complaints that the live action is exactly the same as the animated. So why do it in the first place if you're not going to add to it, right? If you're not going to make it better. And that's I think that's why.
But why deviate when the deviation doesn't make it better? Sometimes the deviations seem like unnecessary.
I think
And
the deviations seem unnecessary to us because we already know the original. But imagine like your niece and your nephew if they've never seen the first one and they see this one first.
so they have. Both of them did. Well, I'm not sure about Bubs because he's 8, but my niece, she did. She's 13. She was like, "I love Lilo and Stitch," and she definitely wanted to go see it. Um, but it wasn't bad. It was good. It wasn't a waste of time. So I enjoyed it. Um, but yeah. So let's get started on our first topic of this evening, shall we? Uh, God, talking about this man gives me a freaking headache.
Talking about what?
Affinity graduations.
All right. Maybe I can make your head not hurt as much. We hope.
Go ahead. I want to hear your take on it because you. So
Why
for
don't we go?
those,
Why don't we go over it first and then
yeah.
yeah.
So for those who don't know, over the weekend there came the news that due to the DEI demand of the Trump administration to be cut from colleges and universities, or unless their funding is going to be cut for the graduation season that just came up, the Trump administration, basically a lot of colleges, damn near all of them, cut what is called affinity graduations um, that have been going on from uh, from their colleges, basically. Like they won't be sponsoring them, kind of deal. And for those that don't know what an affinity graduation is, let me tell you. So, the decade long traditions at their institutions aim to celebrate the achievements of students who have been historically unwelcome in higher education. So, this includes cultures such as black people, Mexicans, Asians, well, etc., etc., etc. All right. So they're the cultural celebrations of graduates aimed to um, aim to celebrate that individual's accomplishment. Um, and they're usually optional events led by students. And this year, a lot of colleges told them no to doing affinity graduations. The only two that didn't that I've heard of so far are Harvard and Kentucky. So Harvard's still fighting against Trump and all his foolishness, and the University of Kentucky also.
So that's okay. I those are probably little nuances that I probably should get clear first. So according to this article, um, it said that Harvard she received a letter that said Harvard would no longer allow them to use the facility that they had um booked for that graduation. I don't think they're saying that they can't do it. The other schools and stuff I don't know anything about. I only know about this article that you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Um so like I think Harvard, and she's giving Harvard a little bit of crap for that, but I agree with Harvard's stance on it. Like I don't think you should ban them, but I also don't think you should I don't with the administration that's currently in office and all the crap that they've been doing with higher education, you should not be drawing attention to yourself. You should be playing nice and doing all the underwork, like what Harvard's doing, right? With offering courses about um government and offering free courses online to everybody about how government's supposed to work, how our constitution's supposed to work, how to overthrow those people, how to make those things work. They are literally trying to play nice up front so they can't throw anything at them while fueling people and giving them the tools that they can to overthrow this because they can't do it themselves. Their job is to educate.
Mm-hmm.
And their job is to put the power in the people's hands, right?
Mm-hmm.
So fighting with them on this isn't a hill to die on. It's just not, right? So I don't think that they should fund it, like especially because the funding that is being threatened to be withheld, that's how they reach out to get students. I don't even know if they even have to disclose how they get students at this point. They just can't call it DEI, right? Um,
I mean, DEI wasn't how they were getting students. DEI was quote unquote affirmative action, which we don't even know they were still going by because there are
but this
tons
is
of
what
talented students of all ethnicities.
I agree with you. But unfortunately, the people in our administration right now don't see it that way, right? So, like, I feel like they have to they have to play nice to be able to still pull the resources that they need to make the same change and difference that they can with the population, right? So
Are you talking specifically Harvard?
I'm sure it's with a bunch of different schools that they threaten to
Because
hold
Harvard
money
is the
back
only one
from.
openly fighting Trump. That at least that I've seen through the news, openly fighting Trump because they're already in a lawsuit over him. Um, they're already in a DEI fight with him, and they're the
Oh, I'm
only ones
sure.
already standing on that. Like that's why I'm saying I think what I saw was Harvard and hold on, uh, Harvard and Kentucky were the only ones that were like, um, we're still going to do it this year. Now maybe Harvard's going to pull back for the next year and save their energy.
Well, if you look, right, because they did, they did resend the like sh- the girl that's organizing the black graduation on campus.
Mm-hmm.
She got an email from the university officials saying that she would not be allowed to host the black graduation on campus.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they did rescind it. Yeah. Okay. So that last one that I saw
Um,
was not correct.
because they had reserved the Harvard Memorial Church on campus for the event. Like I said, you just don't want to draw fire over something like this. Like I think that you should still kind of maybe divert administration if they need it to help them organize it elsewhere, but they can't be associated with it. Not right now. Not and still do good and not get like pooped on by the folks in office right now. Like the spotlight right now as far as higher education goes is on them right now. That's who they are going to be the one to draw fire. That's why they're in litigation.
Yeah, and I mean, from Harvard's perspective, I get it, because at least they're fighting some type of fight. Honestly, I'm not even mad at any of the colleges at this point. I really brought this up strictly because of the comments that I saw about
Oh.
Affinity graduations on Facebook. People that have probably never even graduated college being happy that something they didn't even probably know existed until this story came out is gone.
So again, I don't know that I've seen anything that says that having I mean, it basically sounds like a private commencement that's specifically um associated with a specific culture, right? So like black, Asian, whatever it is. And so, like, I don't see anything saying that that's illegal. Like, they can't hold something like that. I think what it looks like is that they don't want the schools
That's what it is.
contributing to it, which is
That's what it
okay.
is.
I don't necessarily have a problem with that. And I brought it up with Brian because I had never heard of it either. I did not know this was a thing, and as an Asian, I don't feel like I need it. Mm. But not to say that you shouldn't be able to do it if you want to do it, right? But what you're dealing with is, yes, you're absolutely right. Like I was saying the same thing. I was like, well, what about the white people that come from like white trash, or they come from really, really rural areas and they are the first in their family to, make it past farming and agricultural things and get to school. They aren't celebrated that way. And so you get these people who are really, really triggered and insecure and like
But here's the
defensive.
thing: being white isn't a culture. I'm sorry if that offends anyone, but being white isn't a culture.
But that's the problem. Now you are putting them in a place of lack, right? I mean, and maybe that's why the big flag that they swing is America, right? Is because that's the only thing they've got.
I'm sorry, America's the only thing I got too. Thanks to their ancestors, I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know what kind of African I am. I just know I'm a black man. I could be Haitian for all I know. I don't know. Like, you expect me to feel sorry for you for something your ancestors set up and put in place, and I don't. I can't. It's impossible for me to do that. I don't know where I come from other than Mississippi.
But you could be a part of a black graduation because you're black. They don't have anything separate to make them special.
I'm I'm a minority.
So
Being a small amount of something is special. Just like being in the military is special in and of itself. We're one percenters. I'm part of multiple special groups. I'm part of the 1% of the Americans that join the military and actually like get in. I'm also black, which is 13% of the population according to statistics. That's
is
not
it
my fault.
really that low?
Yeah, according to the last statistic I looked at, yes. I'm a minority. Yes,
What are
being a
Asians?
let's look. You know what?
What? That seems so low.
It is low. 13%. Like,
That seems so low. And then if that is actually the case,
oh,
then
I'm
that
sorry. It's
explains.
lower than 13%. Let's go ahead. 63.44% are white. 12.36% are black or African American. 0.88% are American Indian Alaskan Native. 5.8% are Asian. 0.19% are Native Hawaiian and other Pacific Islander. 6.60% are some other race, and 10.71% are multiracial.
That's the United States, yes? That's like the
Yes.
whole pop.
Yes.
All right, well, then it is everybody that instead of just literally everybody, but white people. Hmm.
Like, don't
So
you? What am I missing here?
I
You're the
I
majority. Small things get recognized.
I think that what we're missing, I didn't even have that scope, right? Like I mean, I know that there's less Asians than there are black people and there's less black people than there are white people. Sure, that's an easy kind of like thing to know, but the actual volume is insane. I had no idea it was that different. In my mind, it's not like that, and it's because of where I live.
It depends on where you live. Because, see, I told another black
Exactly.
person this years ago. He didn't, and he was a college graduate. Dude, smart as hell. Dude, smart as a whip. But he didn't know that statistic. I was like, dude, we're 13% of the population. And he was like, ain't no way. Because he comes from a small town where there's a bunch of black people. You can't throw a brick without hitting one. He didn't know that we're still only 13% of the entire continental United States population, and probably including Alaska and Hawaii as well.
This is
But there are
hold
certain
on.
states that there are no black people, or practically.
Okay, okay, okay. I'm looking at the United States Census now, just to see kind of what is happening.
But y'all want to get mad that these minority groups, Asians, blacks, Probably some Native Hawaiians have that celebration too. Indians, they, like, you want to get mad that we have a little celebration for ourselves, bro? Get out of here. Miss me with that shit.
Why can't you be content with what they're celebrating with you?
Because college is based on individual accomplishment. This isn't a team sport. I did this on my own. I graduated.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't see a problem with it. And I don't see a problem. That's like saying that you shouldn't be able to have like a graduation party. Everybody can have a graduation party. This is different because this is something that the potentially the school was sponsoring, right?
But
And
once
so they're
upon a time,
wrecking.
okay, go ahead. I'm
Hmm.
sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go
No,
ahead.
it's okay.
No.
It's just, like it would be like the way that they see it, and a little bit the way that I see it is it would be like the school throwing a party for like a specific clique of people, or like a certain major that
Once,
graduated, right?
so once,
That's what it feels like. That's all.
so here's the thing. Uh, Once upon a time, they did. Once upon a
I know.
time, you, me, other minorities, we couldn't get into these schools. Once
Well,
upon a time, we couldn't graduate with them,
but now we can.
but now we can. But what's wrong with them having a celebration for us because of our achievement?
So
What?
I'm going to go ahead and say that this is so on one of the categories we have not talked about that has nothing to do with race, that was included in the affinity graduations, um is LGBTQ.
I thought so. Yeah, I know. I'm
So
aware,
I'm going to say that
and I'm pretty sure that was the target.
well, I think it's more than just that. Like, cuz every Trumper that I know is like, I'm not racist. Every single one of them.
So they
And I
say.
don't believe, well, it's not that. I think that in their minds, and I understand where they're coming from, I don't think that they are they are aware of, like, the little courses you have to take on like micro transactions you have with people.
Microaggressions and stuff like, yeah, we take them in the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
army.
that stuff.
Well, we took them in the
Exactly.
army. I'm sorry, they're gone.
Well, they're everywhere, right? And I think that there are a lot of people that aren't aware that they do those things, right? So like, I'm gonna be honest. When I'm driving, I will attempt to racially profile the person in front of me that's doing dumb things, and I'm usually right. Right? It's not even just race; it's race and gender. I usually try to guess it as I'm driving by them and glaring at them, and I'm usually right. Now, how does that happen though, right? That happens because you are accumulating data, whether or not you realize it, that's associated with gender and race. Like, I don't think of it necessarily as a bad thing until you take that and you slap it on an entire race or gender and you go, everybody is exactly this way, right? For me, that is like true racism. So like, I don't think that these Trumpers are racist in that manner. I don't think that.
I
They
don't
do
think.
have black friends. They have black people they get along with. They have lots and lots of those things. There are other pieces that are associated largely with those groups of people that they have issues with.
I don't think all Trumpers are racist. Let me take that because I know a
Yeah.
lot of Trump supporters. I'm in a National Guard full of them. Okay,
Mhm.
and I know they're not, but at the same time, they didn't make this vote. Just they made this when I someone said this to me, and I don't typically talk. I didn't talk politics at work. I don't talk politics at drill. I choose not. No, I don't like to.
It's dangerous.
It is
Yeah.
dangerous. That's just one of the beliefs that I've held. But it was a lonely day in the office, and we ain't had shit else to talk about. So the conversation came up, and I can be civil while having a political conversation. You and I are allowed to disagree. That's fine. Um, and even in this case, it was fine. But he said common sense has returned. How?
Because they have it in common.
The delusions that
Yeah, they have it in common. Yeah.
the delusions that Trump supporters find themselves in to support whatever it is that he puts out. Like everybody keeps throwing around DEI, and even a Hispanic guy that I know that voted for him, I was looking at him like, dude, you're a minority. How can you sit here and look me in my minority face and tell me that you support this man? Like he's
I know. So it's very interesting. I know a lot of Trumpers that are Chinese, like from China. I know a lot of Cubans that are also Trumpers, like die-hard Trumpers. I know a black guy from the UK that's a die-hard Trumper.
That guy can kiss the blackest part of my American ass.
He is, but it's like again, this is very kind of fun, not fun, but it's interesting to watch as the fallout happens, right? My whole thing was my guess anyway was that um Trump needed to win again, but he also needs to cause what I like to call the incel reaction, which is my God has forsaken me reaction to a lot of people. These people, some of these people, like for example, the farmers that supported him that no longer have um workers they can afford to pick their crop for them because the they took our jobs thing happened, and now all of their illegal workers are not able to take those jobs, and no actual citizen wants them at that pay rate, and they're screwed right now, right? Like, so for example, this one of the friends that I have, he was, like I said, a huge supporter. He's, from the UK, he's black, and all of those things surprised me, but I guess I shouldn't be surprised anymore. But he was, I think, working for the government or contracting for the government, and was one of the agencies that Elon shut down.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see how these things kind of like will roll back, and as you see these people get impacted not
I'm
on the way
watching it
that they
now.
thought.
I've
Well,
seen,
that's what I'm saying.
because even from like, because we have federal technician jobs in the National Guard, right?
Hmm.
And the temporary ones have lost their jobs. There's a hiring freeze right now in the Guard for AGR and federal technician jobs as they
I mean,
scroll through the budget.
there's a freeze across the board, isn't there?
For federal jobs, yes. Yes, there is.
Mm.
There's a
Okay.
hiring freeze, and some of these people have lost their jobs because of their vote, because of what they
Yep.
voted for.
Yep.
Like, you voted for this.
Now,
And
go ahead, go ahead. Sorry.
like, it just it's the mental gymnastics for me that people are like using to convince themselves this was a good idea when they can clearly see the aftermath.
So to add to that, though, I think some of that was in the same ways, the way that they talked about the way that the Trumpers felt that Democrats defended Biden. And that's another problem, right? So the problem ends up being we are so polarized right now that even if I say the word Trumper, people are going to assume that I was a Biden supporter or a Kamala supporter, and I'm not,
Same.
right? Or vice versa. It's the same kind of situation. This is how polarized we are at this point, that this is the assumption that you make. Not, oh, you don't support that person. What do you support?
Like there weren't more candidates. I'm still waiting on Bernie Sanders personally, but that man
So
might die soon. I
that's kind of our problem.
People want to like, but I just it's the and then so and there's more like I'm a comment scroller. Okay, I scroll comments just to see how people feel on
Hmm.
both ABC News, CNN, Fox News, all sorts of comment sections. Okay, I don't just look at ABC News and CNN for all of my news. No, I go everywhere. I want to see how every side tries to spin this, and I want to see what everybody thinks. And someone said the word unity. They were like, "We need to be unified as a nation, and this is about unity, and everyone should have one graduation." And I was like, if America cared about unity, Trump would not be in office right now.
But that's how they see it, right? This goes back to the whole all lives matter versus Black Lives Matter versus whatever.
A protest against a protest. Most ignorant shit I ever saw in my life.
Um, and it's goofy because it makes me think a bunch of different things in my head, because for the longest time I did not understand the Black Lives Matter movement because all I saw were the loudest people, like the people stomping on the American flag and things, burning it, whatever else, right? But that's the problem, is that's usually it's the loudest, most extreme people from a specific group of people that we hear or see.
That's
And
what
it's
they
no
want to show
different.
you. And I blame the
But
media.
Yes.
I blame the
It's no
media for
different.
showing us that.
Yeah, it's no different than like Trumpers or Democrats or whatever. You're always going to be shown the most extreme version of that group,
I'm gonna be
which
honest.
just
They don't
creates a
even
bigger divide.
they don't even have to show me a picture of a Trumper. You know what they have to? I don't even have to see a picture of a Trumper. I don't have to see none of that. I just got to look in the comment sections. It's what they're saying. I'm not even looking at the media for what a Trump person is saying or doing. I'm literally reading what they're saying in the comment section, and
Oh yeah. But you
it's
know who it is. You know who it
mind
is.
blogging. It is mind boggling. It is asinine behavior. I can't. It
I
drives
know.
me
I
nuts.
was gonna, I was gonna say if you read the comment section, that's gonna drive you more nuts than anything else. I
It
think.
drives me nuts, but it lets me know how American. It lets me know like how certain people think, and sometimes it gives me hope. You know what I mean? I find like-minded people in the comment section.
But they're
Uh,
so rare.
Depending on who you look at, like under ABC, I'm more likely to find someone like-minded in the comment section. And you know what I don't see in the comment section? People saying that Kamala would have been a better choice, which is also what
Um,
gives me hope. Her
Ka-
run, uh,
Kamala.
Kamala,
I'm,
excuse me.
I'm mad at all of you for saying her name wrong.
I okay, so in my defense, while the whole election was going on, I was overseas and they had TVs in the DFAC, which is the dining facility,
Mm.
uh, but the volume was off.
Okay, that makes sense. So you were just reading it,
So I
Kamala.
just saw
Yeah.
her name. I didn't hear it until I like got back to the states.
Got you. Got you.
but
Okay.
but like I don't see anybody in the comment section saying she would have been a better choice, which also gives me hope because I don't think she was a good choice either. I do not like the way her campaign was run. I don't.
Well, well, if I look at so my Facebook feed is a very mm, interesting feed, right? So eh, there are big kind of picture things that I can see in the different sample groups that I'm privy to. So the majority of I think the people that are on my friends list are probably the people that I do dock diving with a certain organization. And within this organization, I would say like 90% of the people are Trumpers. So that's all I see all the time. Now, obviously, also hilariously, right? This is also not something that I would think is would, would be something that I wouldn't think would happen. The majority of those people are white, if not all, right? So when I show up to usually any event or the world championships or whatever else, I am the one minority. And in fact, last year, of the like four people that weren't white, I brought three of them.
Dang.
So yeah, yeah, it's usually just me and a bunch of
Dang.
white people, right? So um and so it's really interesting to kind of see. Now what's really interesting about that is there are some LGBT folks kind of in and out. There were more before, and now that there are more organizations of dock diving, it's really interesting to see where everybody falls. In the one that I primarily compete in, they are mostly Trumpers. Like it is, they write in all caps just like Trump. Like it's yeah. But but in the other organizations you see way more diversity. You see lots of LGBTQ, you see lots and lots of um you see a lot more Democrats. You see all sorts of different things, and they are not majority Trumpers, even though I would still say, though it's less white, it's still majority white. I mean, we just looked at the population. I think it's impossible for it to not be majority white in something like that, especially a dog sport.
Yeah.
But there are it's a way more diverse population within those other groups than it is within the primary one that I compete in. So I get to see this stuff all the time. Um, Now, my family is appropriately Democratic because they're minorities, right? They are full believers in most of the Democratic stuff. Like most of the rhetoric that you hear for the Democratic Party, they are believers in.
Okay. I mean, I'm liberal. I'm not Democrat.
Right.
Like
Same.
if a good Republican ran and I liked his message, um, I believe in what they're trying to give me. I believe that they're gonna try to help make my life better as a small, as a not a minority, but as a middle class citizen. Then I'd vote that way. It hasn't happened yet. I've been able to vote since 2009. Obama was in office until I was 25, 26, 20. No, hold on. 8 years. He was in office since I was 17. So I was 25, yeah. And, obviously the next election after that was Trump versus Hillary. I wrote in Bernie Sanders. I wasn't doing either of those.
But this
Um,
is something that I brought up last time. Sorry, I just sent you that I said we should probably talk about, which is crazy.
what is this? Let me see.
And it
How will the
relates to the same topic
how will the GOP
of like,
tax plan impact you? Do you make $360,000 a year or more per year? No. Your taxes will decrease. If yes, your taxes will decrease substantially. Do you make more than $914,900 a year? Yes, on average, your taxes will decrease by 36,320. No, on average, your taxes will decrease by $7,160. Do you make $157,500 per year? No. Do you make at least $28,600 per year? I did, but right now, no. On average, your taxes will increase by $790. Why are my taxes increasing? Because I make less.
this is the problem. This is what people were voting for.
Yeah, and I never understand that. I'm like, especially in the state that I live in, I don't
So
get it.
I think there are a couple different things that are happening there. Right off the cuff when I read this. So this is something that I also kind of ran into during COVID, right? I think that the people that are in charge of us are so out of touch with the actual working class because they consider themselves working class, right? I'm not saying you don't work for a living, but you are not the working class that we talk about, right? Like, if you make 500K a year, if you make 300K a year, even, I don't consider you the same thing as the people who make fucking 50K a year or even 100K a year.
No, probably not. No, they're done. And see, so
But they
honestly,
think of themselves the same way. And so when you have people up top making these decisions for working class people, they assume they're not really impacting very many people that make less than $50,000 a year, right?
but the
They're
working
like, don't.
class, my problem is the working class keeps voting for these people.
That's because they don't. Well,
You know what that is? You don't listen. All right, I've had binders on like my voice on this podcast on this show. I've handcuffed myself about my opinion just because I know a diverse array of people. I love a diverse array of people. Respect a diverse array of people who don't think the same as me. Um, who are of different races, ethnicities, different thoughts. Okay, uh, but quite literally, the Republican class is voting strictly to oppress others. That's my
well.
belief. That is literally
I,
what I think. I'm sorry. They were
so
mad at all the LGBTQ plus IA shit. They voted for Trump. And the moment DEI was overturned, like the evidence is right here. The moment DEI was overturned, they were like, "Oh my God, hooray! Now people can get jobs based on merit," as if like that wasn't already happening. This
correct.
this hasn't been the 80s and 90s in 20, 30 years. Black people, Asian people, black people, Asian people, Mexican people. There are plenty out there that are more accomplished than the average white guy. I mean, than another white guy to get a job without DEI.
So what's interesting about that? I have one interesting thing that I can comment on with that because I'm not really affected by DEI. Like I haven't had direct issues, pro or con, with it. My dad worked for the Department of Energy,
Mm-hmm.
and he has a problem with DEI female hires. He has no problems if they are merit-based hires, right? And this is where this mentality comes from. And in some cases it's true. And he feels that because there are so few females in that office, I guess, or that sort of grouping of jobs, they hired a female manager, and he's like, she's absolutely worthless. She does not know what she's doing. And everybody suffers because of that DEI hire. And so I'm not saying that those things don't happen. I'm sure that they do. And that sucks. And it should be a fair merit-based thing. But how do we go about doing that properly, right? We couldn't make people do it because boys just hire their boys. And we couldn't force it because now they're not properly equipped to do the jobs. So what do you do?
So my question is
I
how does he 100% know that that woman was a DEI hire?
Because he says that there's no way anybody in their right mind would have hired her otherwise.
You don't know how her interview went. Was he in the interview room?
I do not remember if he was part of the interview or not.
If he was a part of
But
the interview process, then maybe. But the way it's sounding, if he wasn't a part of that interview room, he doesn't know that. You don't know what her resume looked like. Now, she may be a complete bozo when it comes to actually applying it to the job,
right.
but that doesn't mean she was a DEI hire. That's not what that means. You don't know what her
I
resume looked like.
I don't know enough for me to say for sure not, but I will say that my dad handled all of their grant money. So I imagine that he did have
He might have. But
privy to
how
some
do they put that in the
information.
system is my question. Do they actually put DEI hire asterisk by the person when they hire them?
Probably not.
Like, does a company
Probably not.
openly admit that they did a DEI hire?
You know what? As far as DI hires go, if that rule is in place, did they have to submit that to someone?
I know at one point there was, because affirmative action DEI
Like you
there
had to
is
prove that you were meeting your quota of DEI
there
hires or
was a
something?
quota of minorities that you are hiring that needed to be submitted. It goes along with like the stats of like your employees. You know,
Look,
this many
okay,
white
so
folks,
like,
this many black folks, this many Hispanic,
so
blah blah blah.
do we consider race population based uh scholarships and grants to be DEI as well then, or were they just called something different?
I'm not certain, but I do know that there were African American scholarships, and schools were trying to meet those quotas too.
Well, sure,
But that
for
didn't
sure.
mean that the kid was less qualified than the white
Nah,
applicant.
bro. Let me tell you. So maybe I did benefit from it and didn't know. So when I was my senior year of high school, right, I was not very motivated to get into colleges. It just wasn't a thing, and I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know what I wanted to do. And so my parents were like, my mom, of course, like she's like, you better start applying. Like it's not like a school's gonna call you with your grades because I did not have great grades, and offer you money or whatever. And lo and behold, literally, I got a phone call that I answered, and it was like, "Hi, this is Berry University from Miami calling. Would you like a grant?" I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, you might have been and that's, you know what, that's okay. Like, because five point, I just told you what are Asian. 5.82% of the population is
Oh,
Asian. Okay. Yes, there are some DEI quotas that needed to be hit, and you actually might have been one of those DEI hires that people are actually mad about. Based on your
well, you
story. Damn it, you blew up my whole spiel. You blew up my whole spiel.
I know, I know. But that's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure that that's a thing. And
I
I want to say I was the only Asian on that campus.
You might have been, because I've never even heard of that college.
It's a private school.
Okay.
It is in Miami Shores, and it's a private Catholic school. And but by the way, your percentages were right before. Like I'm looking at the census for 2024, and you were right before. It was like 13.7 for Black and 6.4 for Asian and things like that. That
Yeah.
original number was
And
accurate.
keep in mind, I gave him those percentages back in 2018. Those percentages aren't changing.
So, okay, but remember, it is very difficult, and I will also add this to the people that are in charge. It's very difficult for you to grasp the scope of a country as large as the United States, right? It's already hard enough to do it outside of your circle, right? You are more likely to think about what is pertinent and relevant to your circle. So, like, for me, for example, one of the guys that I dated in Missouri was like crazy left wing. Like, crazy left wing. Like, he sounded like a black person, but he was white. Like, he sounded like somebody who was black that kept carried a chip on their shoulder and like felt like white people owed them everything
The
for
fuck?
generations. Yes.
What did they owe
And
him?
they didn't white people no, he's saying that white people owe black people
Oh, I like this guy.
forever.
I'm not saying. Listen, hold on, wait, time out. And to my white viewers, I'm not saying that. Okay, I don't even believe. I don't even care about reparations because I'm afraid of the ramifications reparations would have. I'm like forever like fucking traumatized by Dave Chappelle skit I saw back in 2003. Like I don't care about reparations. I don't want them to come my way. I'm afraid of what would happen. Okay, like
Exactly.
but
So he is completely of the opposite mindset, and he's like, "Do you know the deficit that they come up from? Do you know?" And we're the ones that put them in that deficit, and we're responsible for getting them out of that hole, and that all of that, right? And in my mind, my brain was so scrambled because I'm like, really? So then you come to somebody like me who did not grow up around anything like rural Missouri, right? I grew up on the line and going to school with literally the richest black city in the United States.
hmm,
And so all my friends that were black were rolling around in Jags and Benzes and shit. And I'm like, I don't understand. And like I used to go over to like there were two sisters that I was friends with, and one was my year and one was a year younger. They lived in a freaking $8 million house.
damn.
The house that they had a pool in their basement, they had a movie room in their basement, they had a dance floor in their basement. They had like 8 staircases in their house. I used to get lost. I'm like, I just went down a set of stairs. Now what? And like, and the houses next to them, like the house next to them had an elevator in it. And these were the kids that I grew up with, and they were all black. Like, it's tough for me because again, your reality is really what you're around, what you're exposed to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even if you know other things exist, that's the primary of what you're going to think. So I got again bad ideas, but we got bussed. The talented and gifted kids got bussed into the worst neighborhoods. Again, because the people who are making these decisions are out of touch with the people they're making decisions for. Because they have their own circle, which sounds like a good idea, and they're making decisions for a completely different circle of people where that doesn't make sense.
I don't
And I'm
think.
gonna say the go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
I'm
Go
going to
ahead.
say this the exact same thing about the people who are in charge in this administration right now. They have no idea what it's like to live
I
as
don't
one of
think those people
us.
are out of touch. They're literally taking advantage of the stupid.
I
Sorry.
think taking advantage of the stupid is fine, but I still think that it's out of touch.
I don't think they're out of
And
touch. I think they know exactly what is going on in this country, and I'm not gonna allow them the latitude to say that they aren't.
I am
Like
going to say it even in the case of like I'll talk about COVID things in a minute that make me think of that. But as far as like this type of thing goes, this is what gives you that really big drastic perspective difference, right? You've got someone who I grew up near DC, so like in PG County, where when I was going to school, the county was 93% black.
okay,
So it's definitely not what the census obviously describes the United States population. And in my mind, I really didn't think that the majority were white people. I thought the majority was black people.
eh.
Because when I was going, I mean, like one thing, like you're told that black people are a minority, but in your experience, that has not been the case. right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things where, like, in my mind, I was like, well, that's weird. Well, let's make them 50-50 because that's the closest thing that my brain can do, right? Because going to school where we got bussed, obviously all of us were the minority. The entire school was black. We got bussed into the hood. And there were like I don't know, there were more white kids than there were Asian kids. And
Clearly,
that's about as far as you can go.
I don't think I've been
But
to a
mm,
county where there were more Asian kids than black or
oh,
white
but I can
kids.
no, but I can give you some. We have them here.
Oh,
Yeah. So there are counties here where I don't know if y'all took the SAT or not and what the score was because they changed
yeah, I
that
took the
around after I
SAT.
got here. So the SAT perfect score before they added the writing portion, which I would have loved, but before they added that, which turned it into like 2400 or something, was 1600 was a max score, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like in my county, let's say the average SAT score I think was still under 1,000.
Damn.
Yeah. And they did it per school and did all of that because my parents made me read all the things the catalogs basically that look like encyclopedias that talk about each school and their ranking and what their average SAT score is. Now, in Montgomery County, where the majority of the people are Asian, most of them are Chinese, the average SAT score is now 1,400.
Out of 26.
No, out of 16.
Oh, out of 16. Okay.
I didn't score 14. So now all of a sudden it does matter where you're coming from if we're talking about merit based. And this is kind of an issue too, right? Let's say every region gets to submit, I don't know. Like, let's say you're the top of your class. You were valedictorian, but you don't even come close to the bottom of that county. Everything's all skewed. I don't know. I don't know the best way to kind of mitigate any of these things,
Merit based is
honestly.
just literally off merit. What did you do in high school? Like how? Like it's the same way you go against two white students going up against each other. The
No,
same
but
way. Do it the same.
but I agree with you. But what I'm saying is, even that, let's say everybody white, like even that can be off because again, by your and this is where I think some misunderstanding comes from. By your perspective, you would think if you're valedictorian, you're doing super duper well, and merit based wise, based on what you have seen, not like the rest of the population, but what you have seen in your immediate experience,
Mm-hmm.
you're at the top. But now you're at the bottom if you compare yourself to other people within the entire United States.
Okay, so that's a personal problem. If you are personally you're valedictorian of, let's say, your local high school, wherever the hell that is,
Mhm. Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
But being valedictorian in your high school just means that you have let's just compare it based off the grade point average. Being valedictorian in your high
Mhm.
school just means that you had a 3.5 GPA, right? Am I giving a proper example of what you're saying?
What I'm saying is, what if you have a 4.0 and they have a 4.0, but they're better than you?
How do you know they're better? You both have 4.0 GPAs. What else is there? What are the other metrics?
But that's why SAT comes into play.
Okay,
That's why other
so
things come into play.
so the SAT.
Sure,
Let's say that person has a 2400 SAT and you got the 13. All right. Guess what? Choose another school.
but that's what I'm trying to say is I think that there's a bit of like a distortion when people are like, let's say you are a white kid from a rural white area and you're the smartest kid, like young Sheldon, you're the smartest kid at your school. Um, and so in your mind, merit based means you are getting it. But compared to somebody else, you lose.
Yeah, and
Because
that's a part of merit based. I'm sorry, that's competition. That
I
is it is
agree
life.
with you. But you can't tell me that that might not be distorted in the eyes of that student and their family and things
That's
like
not
that
and if it is distorted, that's their problem. Like
until they can blame it on race.
and I'm sorry, where are we going with this? Because that's this whole conversation. That's
I
my
know,
point.
But what I'm saying is you have to understand where they're coming from, because as long as you ignore where they're coming from, you can't fix it. And that's every issue that we have. Conflict is just misunderstanding.
It's also willful ignorance. They know where we're coming from. It's been plastered everywhere. They know exactly where minorities go. Like Affinity graduations, you give a damn that a bunch of black college students are being recognized at in their
Yes,
like
because you
why?
shouldn't be able to do it if we can't do it.
Who
It's
said you can't?
unfair.
You can literally. I only said that white wasn't a culture. If you
But
know that you're
that's what I
Danish
meant.
or German or Italian
I'm
or
saying
whatever,
I'm gonna say white people because they're gonna feel the same way. Whether or not we feel like they should be able to, they're going to feel like they should if you can. Because it's supposed to be about equality.
no one said they couldn't though. There's not a rule that says they couldn't. They just haven't.
Okay, as long as you're not against white people doing it too,
No,
then I don't have a
go
problem. All
ahead.
right,
Honestly, no. I'm
that's what I was saying. Is they should be allowed to do it too if they really want.
I don't see anywhere where they said that they couldn't. I'm gonna say it's gonna look a little strange in the public perception eye, but
That's
honestly, I
all
don't
I'm
feel it'll
saying.
be talked about. I haven't heard an affinity graduation being talked about yet before this article. Not once. Not
Oh, I hadn't
once.
either.
And I
I
know
didn't know what it
they're
was.
all white fraternities with like maybe a black guy who decided to go that way and go be in that fraternity and he got in. But I know that there are all white fraternities,
I don't know
multiple.
enough about that.
Just like there are all black fraternities. I don't know if Asians have their own fraternities.
Oh, I'm
Uh,
sure that they do.
but I know that there is a cultural separation like there are historically black colleges and universities where there's just black college students. Okay, I know there are some places where there's a racial divide. They don't mean anything by it, but it's a clique thing. You know what I mean? Like now, granted, some of these white fraternities they probably did, and they were only meant for white people. That's why black people made their own fraternities, so we could have our own stuff. Like and now you
That
want
makes
to be
sense.
mad that we have like a separate celebration like we're not being a part of the big graduation with everyone else. We're just having our own thing.
And what I'm saying is that they probably feel like it's unnecessary because everybody already has a group unified universal one. Now, again, I don't think anybody should be stopped from having their own cultural celebration based one. And honestly, white people should be able to have theirs too if they want it. I just think that they think it's unnecessary. And so by the school funding one for other races, they are affording them special treatment. That's, I think, the problem. I think that's the mentality that they're having an issue with
I
more than
mean,
anything else.
I
But
get I know where they're coming from. Like I know exactly what they're thinking. Like I said, I read the comments. What you said is exactly what they're thinking, and it
I didn't even
bothers
read
me.
the comments.
I read the comment section. What
I don't have to, right? Like I already know where
Yeah, what you
that
said is
perspective
exactly
comes
what they're
from.
thinking, and it bothers me because again, you're minding someone else's business. Like that
Well,
is my problem with the right wing. It's busy minding someone else's business.
so is the left, to be
The
fair.
left is doing the exact opposite. They're putting their business out there. The right is minding it. See,
I
there's
think both
there's a
I
difference
think
there.
I think both sides are about control, and both sides are about forcing people to be comfortable with the control that they want to place. Now, the control areas are different. And if you're a liberal, then like not a liberal like Democrat, but like libertarian liberal, you don't believe in any of that crap. You just want people to mind their own business, and as long as you're
Yeah,
not hurting
you
anybody,
stay out of
people
my way,
can
I'll stay
live
out of
out.
yours. We good.
Yeah, exactly.
Like what is so hard about that?
Because because obviously you should, I mean, can you not tell that most people have control problems? I mean, look at HOAs. Fuck my life.
Yeah, I couldn't live in it. I would never even apply to be in an HOA. I don't give a damn how nice the house is. I would not apply to be in no HOA. Fuck that.
But that's what I'm talking about is people when they're afraid of things, especially if they don't understand things, they opt to control them so they don't have to be afraid of them.
But here's my problem. It's been Segregation has been over since 1960 something,
I don't even
1950
think
something.
that's not the basis of it though, I don't
Hold on,
think.
no, hold on. I'm getting to it. 1950
Okay,
something,
okay.
segregation has ended. Marriage, gay marriage has been a
It's on and
law
off though,
since
yeah.
20 no
Uh, is
no
it federal? It's not federal,
federally
it's just
yes
state.
no it's federally
What?
yes federally state gay marriage has been in law since like 20 was it 2012 2013 something like that. I can't remember at the current moment, but it more almost a, I'm pretty sure a decade now.
2015. Yes,
20 okay
2015.
2015 yeah, so a decade now, just barely. Wow. Let's see what else. uh let's see. Yeah, so those two things have existed for a while now, and the right is still wanting to outdo that. They're overturning Roe v. Wade in like the most legal way that they can in some states. One literally just passed another law to restrict abortion even further.
Well, they
Like,
have a big problem happening in South Carolina and Georgia.
actually, I think it was South Carolina that recently just reduced the time.
I
Yeah,
just I just saw a thing. It wasn't even that. It was let me see something. It was something about pregnancy changes your rights. I just sent that actually. South Carolina Code 625507. Life-sustaining procedures may not be withheld or withdrawn pursuant to the healthcare power of attorney during the course of the principal's pregnancy. So basically, this person learned today, if you're pregnant in South Carolina, then your legal documents, as in your living will, your durable healthcare power of attorney, will be disregarded to keep you alive and save your baby. So even if you're brain dead and months away from viability, even if you got your wishes documented in writing, signed and legal, you get all that till you're pregnant, and then all of that goes out the window.
minding someone else's fucking business.
Yep.
Why? Why do you care what this person does with their body and with their baby? That's it. I believe in God. Okay, so even if abortion is a sin, that's between them and God.
Yeah,
What does
that's
that
not
have
my
to do with
problem.
you?
Exactly. It's not my
What does that
problem.
have to do with you?
I'm
Let
not
that
the
person.
referee.
I'm
Yeah.
not the referee. God didn't. I have not received one vision from God yet telling me, "Hey, you go over there and you tell that person that's wrong." No. Why am I gonna throw stones when I live in a glass house my damn self? I
Right.
got
And
to
that's
answer.
where I think they've forgotten a lot of that. There's a righteousness that follows these people, and it is a lot of times
False
religious
righteousness.
based.
Correct that. False
Yes.
righteousness.
Sure.
Uh, and it drives me
Is
insane. Like,
is righteousness ever really not false if you're carrying it out that way?
no, not when you're carrying out that way. No. And there's a
Yeah.
genuine righteousness, and there's a false one. And there are very few people in this world that are genuinely righteous. There aren't that many.
So,
All of us make
yeah,
mistakes. There's no perfect person.
like there's that girl right now in I think is she currently in that situation in Georgia? There she's caught up in litigation. She's basically in a coma, like she's brain dead, but she has a fetus.
So what? They're
And
gonna keep her
so
alive till the baby is born?
correct. And that's currently what's happening right now.
How is that not
She's
cruelty?
literally because it has she's dead, so she doesn't matter anymore. I get it. I do get this mentality. She's dead, it doesn't matter anymore. Now the only thing that you have, like they can spin this way. The only thing that you have to save whatever piece you have left of this mother is the baby that's living inside of her.
And who's gonna take care of that baby?
She has a husband, I think.
Oh, does she? Okay. Well, so that's different, right? If that's what the husband wants, because that's probably him and his wife probably talked about that.
Right, but they don't. They want to end it. They think this is cruel
Oh. See how you gonna go against the husband's wishes?
because it's not his. He has no right to the baby right now. It's
That's so
the
fucked.
baby's. I know the baby's rights are within. They're being protected by the
So
ultimately correct people
I
who believe in non-abortion, no matter what.
So y'all are gonna force this man into fatherhood from
I
his wife
mean,
that's dead. Like his wife, like he has to sit. Like you know what's gonna go through this man's mind over the coming months as he's waiting for a fetus to grow from his dead wife.
I mean, not even just that. They would also argue. I can give you these devil advocates things, right? They would argue he made the choice to be a father when he decided to have sex with her.
But not to be a single father.
True, but being a father is life. It doesn't matter.
I mean, yes, while that is true, that is 100% a fact. Yes, he did. But that was, these circumstances aren't
I
that.
agree. I
These aren't
agree.
those circumstances.
I agree. Everybody should have the right to do what they want to do. Now, by the same token, I came across something kind of sketch the other day where I came across a bunch of videos where you have really young dads who are they're black dads, black kids, and they're really frustrated that their 13-year-olds are mad at them for not taking them to get another abortion. Another abortion,
Another.
right? Correct. So these kids, I mean, I would imagine that they're talking about Plan B. I would hope that they're talking about Plan B. It's not great for them either because they're like in the beginning stages of like their hormones kind of figure
Of
themselves out with
puberty, yeah.
puberty and whatnot. Yeah.
Like,
But it's still better than having a 13-year-old that has to deal with pregnancy, right? So I get that. But then I came across, I'm like, why are there so many like in this type of like this like setting, right?
bad
And then I
parenting.
came across one, well, you'd think that, but then, yes, an extension. Then I came across a thing where it's a TikTok challenge right now to get
Oh my
pregnant.
God. Get the fuck out of here, yo. Hold
I
on. I'm
was
going to
like,
TikTok.
what's
Get out of
happening
here.
right now?
Wait, but you said these girls were mad that their father wouldn't take them to get a second abortion.
Like, I think this was a third in the video that I happened to see first.
So you're saying there's a
And
TikTok challenge to get pregnant but not carry the pregnancy to term?
it's just a TikTok. It's a TikTok challenge I don't know, it's a pregnancy challenge. I don't know if it's like you take random pregnancy tests or whatever that is. But like, yeah.
Hold on. I'm on TikTok right now. I'm about to look this up. Pregnancy challenge. How do we always get here?
I don't know, man.
Why am I not
Pregnancy test
loading?
challenge. What?
Is it pregnancy test challenge?
I guess. But that's basically what happened is like I don't know, one of the ones that I saw was from a mom's perspective where she's like, "What the?" She's like, "Why are you over here taking random pregnancy tests?" And it came back positive. And she's like, "What? Who were you messing with? I didn't even know you were messing with him. Who are you messing with?" And she was like, "What is he?" And she's like, 12. And she's like, 12? What the?
Uh,
So
so far, I'm only seeing grown ass women, and this is
I mean,
this
that's
this
also
is
what
from
I saw. I will have to
2023.
send you. I'll send you other things, and we can kind of like take a look at it and then come back to it. But it was crazy.
Yeah, I'm only seeing grown ass women. Thank freaking God, because I was about to say if I see a fucking kid, 2024. Okay, yeah, I'm only seeing grown ass adults. Thank Christ. That's
It was it was insane, and it was all kids. It was all girls that were right around 13.
how
And
did
I'm
I,
like, I don't know what's happening.
how do we get here from the Affinity thing? I just want to bridge the gap of how we got here because I forgot how
I'm
we got to the. Was
trying.
it Roe v. Wade? It was Roe v. Wade. We got to
Yes,
Roe v.
yes,
Wade.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
I just wanted to make sure. But yeah, like,
There was another girl that miscarried in one of those states and went to jail for 6 months.
yep, I remember reading about that one actually. I remember reading about that. Um,
So there's some crazy shit going on.
all
But in the
because
end, if I had to think about what their baseline argument would be, it would be a religious one. It would be, and exactly what my parents would tell me. You shouldn't be having sex until you're married anyway.
I mean, while that's smart, and while as a Christian man, that's what I am taught to believe. Um,
Shit happens, people grow up,
it
people evolve,
happens,
people change. Yeah.
and I I advocate for teenagers to wait because honestly, it's the rush. That first nut changed your life. Excuse me, excuse me, but you start thinking differently after like, at least on a male perspective, you start like, you might be a good kid and your head's all straight, you got your priorities in line, and then that first time changes perspective, and like your brain gets cloudy and your goals shift and change. Like
Hmm.
I definitely advocate for young men to wait, despite any peer pressure they may face. But that's easier said than done. Like it's,
Yep.
it's,
I
it's
would say
much
the
easier
same
said than done.
thing. Somebody who became sexually active very, very early. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, but can we just start the mind your own fucking business challenge?
Bro, I don't think anybody knows how to do that.
I know how to do it. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn what nobody is doing outside of my house. Now, when you in my house, I care what's happening. I very much care.
So, okay, you own your own house, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, so would you say that your neighbors directly next to you have an impact on your property value?
Yeah, I actually think that's how property values work. So yes.
Okay. So then do you have to care what your neighbors are doing?
Me personally, I am just blessed to have a home. I feel blessed to even have my house, so I'm not worried about what's happening to the left or to the
Okay.
right of me.
All right, all right. So other people, they buy a property because of their view or because of the ambiance or because of the setting, right?
Yeah,
And then new people move in and now everything goes to shit. Now you got people that have like broken down cars that are all rusted and they have a junkyard next to them now. Or people that are parking big, I don't know, again, big machinery or something that is now blocking the view that the reason is why they bought, like, was one of the reasons that they bought that house, right?
yeah,
Now they're mad
I
because it
get that.
impacts them.
I get that side of it because a lot of times when you start like compiling junk into other people start compiling junk into their yard, it can kind of cause some sort of infestation that can impact your yard,
Sure.
and that I would get. Now my neighbors to my left and to my right are both very clean people. In fact, my neighbor to my right is making me jealous as hell. Because when I moved in, like his yard was like, and I guess he was just newly moving in too, but like his backyard was all cluttered with all this old stuff and all this, like there was a boat, trucks, and all this other stuff, trees, and he's cleaned all of that up. Like shouts
That's
out to him.
great.
I'm trying to be over his house this summer. You see what I'm saying? Uh, and then my neighbor to the left, like I got two dogs, like two dogs that will bark at anybody that goes into their own backyard. Who am I to complain about somebody else? Like like I said, I'm just, and that's just me. But I understand, like, if I picked a certain neighborhood because of like, it was a good
Mhm.
neighborhood, it was a quiet neighborhood, and then all of a sudden it gets loud. Yeah, I'm gonna have a problem with that because you're interrupting my sleep for work or something like that. That would stuff like that. But
Mhm.
I'm talking about the general scope of minding your own business.
Well, and I agree with that, but I'm saying that I think situations like that, for example, like specifically the housing thing, situations like that are what generate things like an HOA because now they don't have the ability to control those things, but with an HOA they would have had an ability to control those things that they can't. And I think that's kind of what's happening in politics and everywhere else is people that feel like they don't have control over the things that make them uncomfortable, so now they're gonna do everything they can to dump into the wagon of the party or the group or whatever it is that's going to enable them to feel safer and more empowered
They realize that they only got 4 years of this, right?
until he rewrites a law. That's what everybody's afraid of.
Oh yeah, go ahead and try. Go ahead and try. Go ahead and try.
But why do you think that's exactly why Harvard is doing what they're doing, right? And that's how they're fighting back, is by giving away knowledge, because knowledge is how you're going to win.
Yep. And that's to those willing to read it. And you know what? After this 4 years is up, I hope, like, I really hope Republicans, the right side, I hope his supporters like wake up soon to that reality.
I think
Uh,
some of them will, because it impacts them directly, like the friend that I was talking about, right? That directly lost his job because of it. And then there are other people who will double down and triple down because they can't be wrong.
well, good, because the 4 years after that is gonna be a really harsh fucking wake up. Because I hope they make everything woke. Everything.
Well,
I hope every bathroom they walk in has something about LGBTQIA plus.
well, the problem with that is I think with that wagon comes one that a lot of people on both sides have a problem with, which is transgendered people in sports, specifically women's sports.
I mean, that's just okay. That is the one thing that truly should have already been common sense, though.
But it's not. Like they so the hardcore LGBT believes that if you are trans, you are whatever you say you are and whatever you're transitioning to.
That's great, but that yeah, you're right, and yeah, I know that. I'm aware of that, and you know what? That's the one thing I wasn't mad at this administration over was when they did that law. I was just like, all right, great, cool.
Right.
I was like, all right, cool. Well, you know what? That was bound to happen at some point. I don't know how they didn't think it would. Um,
But when you say make everything woke AF, that gets overturned
mm,
because that's part of the woke thing that is associated, unfortunately. I hate that we use that term. It drives me
I don't like
crazy.
that term myself, but I'm using it like ironically,
Because yes, yeah,
sarcastically.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm using it sarcastically. Like I'm using it because they hate it. Like I hope the next Star Wars movie that they make after Trump is out of office is just a gay
Oh,
Jedi, a gay transsexual Jedi.
well, we
I
have a
hope it's the
couple.
open scene of the movie.
We have a couple of trans people who have now been superheroes, which is kind of fun.
Oh,
Um, so well, you had to watch specific things. So like the Arrowverse's version of oh God, what is her name? She ends up with Brainiac.
was she trans in the show?
No, 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 no. But she is
But she
trans
turned
herself.
trans, and then there was a homeboy from Elliot from Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
That one. Yep. And that was they did it within the show. They just totally took it in stride. They were like,
Yep.
"Yep, you're dude now."
Yep. They did, and
Yep.
that fueled a lot of this. People were so mad at Elliot.
Why?
They
It's
were
their
just mad.
choice.
They were just mad. Exact minding someone else's fucking business. Like, and it didn't
It's just
affect
like
the Umbrella Academy's
Caitlyn
story one
Jenner.
bit. What kills me about see Caitlyn, don't put her in this category because she voted for Trump. Like I don't. Eh.
But Caitlyn has bounced back and forth, right? Like,
Caitlyn drives me insane. The Kardashians drive me insane. I If you ask me, that's what's
well,
wrong with America today. Them.
I
Like
mean,
that's like
if you were married to Kanye, do you think you might have lost a couple of marbles?
I'm sorry, they did that. I put
Right.
Kanye at their feet. Every man they take in ends up a cokehead or mentally insane.
Maybe. Isn't the kid from Dune dating her? Dating one of them, Kylie?
I don't know. I don't keep up with them like that. I know Lamar Odom was married to one. Lamar Odom is
Um.
a basketball player, and now he's a cokehead. He might have already been a cokehead before that. You know, I
Yeah, Timothy Chalamet.
all I'm saying is that every man that ends up with a Kardashian goes mentally insane. That's all. It's
That ain't true. What about what's his face? He was already crazy.
he
Dude
might
from
have been
SNL.
Tyga too. Something goes
What the
wrong.
heck is his
Something goes
name?
wrong when these men enter these women's lives. Like I don't. Let me stop before they try to sue me for defamation or some shit. I don't know.
Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson.
That's
Oh
what.
yeah, he was a fun crazy though.
Well, he's borderline, so there's a lot of in borderline circles. There is a lot of like
But he didn't turn out any worse. I'm glad my boy. Shout out to my boy Pete Davidson, man. You made it out alive. You made it out alive. You made it out with everything you came back with. Like
You can't get more crazy than borderline, so that's probably why.
you
'Cause
made it. You went in.
I'm borderline, so I can say that. I feel
You
like.
came back out with everything you came in with. You just came, gave pipe to Kim, and left. Shout out to you, my friend. Like I am that man. His listen. That man's Mac game needs to be studied. Like, is it really just being funny that attracts women?
Some
Is it? Is
is,
being
and some
funny
of it's
like
a bit
a big attractive
crazy.
thing?
I don't even think it's that. Like, we think my sister and I have this. I was like, "What is it with Ariana's boyfriend?" She's like, "She likes fugly guys, man. That's just her thing." I
I
mean,
do know a bunch of attractive women, women that I thought were attractive in high school that have shown a track record of dating ugly men, and I'm like, why wasn't
what?
I one of them? Do I look too good? Like I'm so confused.
I think that that's just a different, that's an unfortunate characteristic that all of them happen to have in common. But what's attracting them isn't the looks, it's something else.
Yeah,
Because I have that kind of track record, I feel like. So you can't tell me that there's a type
yeah,
for me, but the type is something internal and then the outside is just what the outside ends up being.
yeah, yeah. I get that. There's more to there's. I've always believed that there is more to a person than looks. Um, I've had those. I'm not claiming to be the most attractive man on earth. It's just reality. I know I'm not. But I've dated, girls that I wasn't attracted to them. Like it wasn't their physical appearance that attracted me. It was their personality. Um, that was the attractive portion of them. Um, and yeah, now that's not the case with my marriage. I've always been physically attracted to my wife. I've known her since I was a teenager. So there's that. Um, so I don't. I know there's
You
more
know
to
what
it than
though? Sorry, I was gonna add to our list of the Kardashian things. Nick Cannon didn't get her pregnant.
didn't get who pregnant.
Kim, I didn't realize they dated.
I didn't. He dated Kim,
Yup.
and he didn't get her pregnant.
No.
Get the out of here. Well,
Right?
I didn't know Nick Cannon was incapable of getting someone pregnant. I thought it was just an
Right?
automatic thing. As soon as he looked
Yep.
at you,
We went on
bow.
a date. That's it. Yep, exactly.
I thought as soon as he looked at you, you was pregnant. Oh my goodness, Kim, I gotta know how you
Exactly.
pulled that one off. If I ever get a chance to talk
See?
to you, I'm gonna ask.
Oh, it's pretty funny.
How did you survive Nick Cannon, the man with no condoms?
I mean, the man we should be studying for like fertility things.
No, that doesn't need to be studied. Actually, black men have, because I come. So my dad's side is a large family. And my grandfather, they had 7 kids of their own. And then my uncle, my dad's older brother, had 7 kids of his own. I don't question fertility at all. I'm one of
Well,
22 grandchildren. I don't question fertility in black men, at least. I don't.
well, so like, I think, but you have to. I don't think there's a fertility problem with most races. I don't think that's an issue because you had to have big families to survive because you needed your kids to take care of your other kids and they all needed to work, right?
Yeah.
Like they all needed to contribute because it's the same thing for my parents, right? My mom is one out of 7 girls and 2 boys.
Oh yeah. So, all right. I'm gonna say something. Promise not to get offended.
Me? I don't know.
Yep. Okay. So, what denomination of Asian are you again?
What kind of Asian are you? I'm Chinese. I am
You're Chi-
technically Chinese
you're
Malaysian
Chinese.
American.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're
Chinese Malaysian American. I've never been to
Chinese
China. I
Malaysian
don't know.
American. Okay.
Yeah,
Um.
I don't know anybody in China.
Okay, but that's
All of my
how many
family's in
people are in
Malaysia.
China?
Like a population?
Mm-hmm.
1.411 billion.
Yeah. So, not surprised.
Again, but they had like child restriction laws too, and there's that many people.
Yeah, yeah. I think the child
And
restriction started after they hit a billion.
and this is them chucking babies.
Yeah, yeah. That's a lot of people. I'm not saying the chucking babies is
And
right, by the way. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm not surprised that your mom. What I'm saying is, I'm not surprised that your mom had a lot of siblings as well.
right, and they are directly from China. Like my mom was born in Malaysia, but her earlier siblings were born in China. My grandparents fled when the communists took over.
Okay, okay. So you're second generation. You're first generation full American, or what is that? Second generation American or first
I'm
generation?
first generation full
Okay.
American. My parents were, yeah. But my mom is first gen in Malaysia, and my dad is not first gen. So his family, let's see, they had four sisters and two boys, so again six.
Okay. But yeah, so like
Um,
big. I'm not surprised at the fertility of men. Uh, and like I said, I was just speaking from my perspective because like I'm one out of 22 grandchildren for for that grandmother specifically, and I
bro,
have
I
it.
don't even want to know the number of grandchildren on my mom's grandma, my mom's side.
And I, what else was that? Dang it, I had something else. But
My
yeah,
bad.
no, you're good. It wasn't you. It was before that. I'd lost that thought. Uh, but yeah, so like Nick Cannon's fertility, it does surprise me. All you got to do is keep not pulling out, and he keeps finding different partners because it's by what I think it was three different women.
Wait,
So
what was?
Nick Cannon. So all of his baby mothers, you know, they're he has like I think two with each or something. He has a certain number of baby mothers. I think it's like two with each.
He has 12 children with six different
Yeah,
women.
that so it is two of each. Yeah, 12 children, six different women. Um, so
Let me see.
and my dad's uncle, when I saw him at Thanksgiving in 2019, he said he had just had another baby, and that dude's 60.
I think, is it two per? I think some of them might have just one.
No, I think it is two per. I googled it for some reason when I was talking to my mom.
Oh, that sucks. He's had some that they've lost.
Yeah, that's sad to hear. Personally, I think that man
Uh,
should have as many kids as he wants. Go for it. He can afford them. It's the poor people that have a lot of kids that I don't understand.
so let me tell you a little bit about that. So I was working at a corporate company in Missouri, and one of the girls um that worked with me was pretty young at the time, just like I was. I think how old was she at the time? I don't know, 23, 24 probably ish. Max 26, 27, somewhere in there, so mid 20s or whatever, right? She
Uh,
was on baby 9, bro.
that's fucking crazy.
And and they're Muslim, they're black Muslim. And she's like, look, here's the problem. She's like, my husband can't like look at me without getting me pregnant. And I was like, well, but at one point we were talking about, I was like, no, I can't go do this, I'm so broke. And we were always talking about how we were broke. And she goes, your problem is you don't have enough kids.
Them tax
And I was
returns
like,
do be crazy.
what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are we talking about? She's like, you just need to have some kids and you have plenty of money. And I don't think that the number of tax credits that you can get equals or exceeds the amount of money you spend on a baby.
I don't I don't know the exact numbers, but I've heard that logic 1,000 fucking times because that's sadly culturally what black people brag
Yes.
about when they have a lot of children is the tax credits.
So
And
I think that there's a little bit of shadiness that happens with that because I'm fairly certain that they were both finding a way to claim all of their children.
oh, see, yeah, no, they just asking to go to prison.
So, I mean, I don't know. So it's kind of one of
I'm
those
sorry,
things.
having that many kids doesn't like a once a year tax credit, a once a year tax payment, which can be in the upward thousands. Like, I know my mom would get back a huge chunk from me, my little brother, my little sister, but that once a year does not outdo the rest of the year. How do you not go insane with
Right.
9 children?
I don't know.
I don't even
I
know
don't
where you
know.
find the patience. Oh, this is where I was going with this. Since we're already on this topic and we've let go of the Affinity stuff, we've gotten past the Affinity topic, so we can take a deep breath and talk about something else, but it still involves Trump administration, sadly. But you know what? We're in that realm, so it fits.
Okay.
Trump wants a baby boom.
I saw that. Didn't we already talk about that? I thought you already talked about this.
Did we?
I
Well,
so I, I know that you had talked about potentially bringing it up at one point or another. I remember when it came up. What was his bonus, like $1,000 or
it was like
something?
$5,000 or
5,000?
something. Yeah, you're right. I
Yeah.
think we did.
Again, what is that going to do? Like, I have talked to friends who are still in debt of in upwards of like
Yeah, we
30K
did have this
from
conversation.
just the delivery. Like,
Yeah.
what the F?
So here's the reason why I brought it up again, because over the weekend I saw the post pop up again on my timeline. I don't know why ABC had it fresh on their news. It was either ABC or CNN.
Oh
Somebody had it
my.
fresh on their news, and I was just like feeling some type of way about just seeing more Trump news on my timeline. So I posted under the post, I will go have a vasectomy out of fucking spite.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
That's what I put. The comments were. Hold on, I'm gonna go and see how many likes I got for that and the comments that came under it. I think there was one that was just like, "Okay, good." Uh, mm, when did it come up? I think I only got two comments. I've only yeah,
Okay, so
there was one.
he this is interesting. I wanted to look up your thing, right? About because I knew something was off about the Nick Cannon thing. I just want to correct it. Um, real quick. So somebody Alyssa Scott is the one that had the baby that died. Their boy died at 5 months, and then they had
Okay,
a girl later. She only has one because of that.
okay, okay.
Mariah Carey has two. Um,
That's three. I'm adding all of
and
them up.
then okay, Brittany Bell has three.
6,
Um, Abby has two boys.
8,
Bree has one,
9,
and Lanisha has one.
10.
Mm, did I get this one? Oh, I'm sorry. The one that I said, Abby, she has three.
11,
So who has three? Brittany has three, and Abby has three.
6.
Yes, 11 because one died. Yes,
Okay,
11.
so he only
So
has
I
11
knew
living
it
children.
wasn't it wasn't two per. I just knew that some of them only had one.
Okay, one of them only has one because one of them passed.
Right, and there's another one that only has one because there's two with three.
Okay, gotcha. All
Yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah,
well,
yeah. It's kind of all over. It's not like he did it like when you said that it was like he like purposely he didn't do it on purpose. It wasn't like it's just been kind of random.
you
At
can't tell
least
me that's not on purpose.
that some of them have two and some of them have one and some of them have three. I mean, I don't
Oh,
think that's
I'm
a
just talking
thing.
about him making children.
Oh no, you made it seem like it was like a very like it was like he was seeding like
Oh,
two per, and you
what's
know
crazy is some people was mad about him having all his kids. Again, people not minding the business that pays them, and it was funny to
because
me.
they don't believe that you can have that many children and sufficiently be an appropriate father for that many of them.
Honestly, to find an appropriate father for me, because I will take one that just gives me money. that I don't have to worry about.
That's that's what you're arguing with. You were arguing with the mentality of a husband wife two parent household where both parents contribute
I
appropriately.
promise you, most of the people that cared about Nick Cannon's child situation were not a two-person household. Because this is the
Maybe,
type
maybe
of
not. I don't
drama.
know.
This is the type of drama that only attracted certain people.
Oh, I think of it as the people that have a problem with it are the same people that I know that have a problem with non societal norms or ideals, right? Which is two parents,
What the hell is this?
kids.
How is that a norm now? How is that
No,
still a norm today? How is that still a societal norm where we stand at today?
because it's something that's forced on people, right? So it's the same group of people, usually from religious context, but it's that mindset. It's that wholesome white mindset.
Honestly, I'm not
Um,
even. I'm not gonna blame white people for this one. I'm putting this on the black community that felt a certain type of way. I'm not putting. I'm not even putting this
oh,
one on white people.
that's
That's what
not
I'm saying about
that's
the drama that
that's
this attracted. I'm
gotcha.
pretty
Like
sure.
the drama that I saw was from white people that were judging that way, not from black people.
Oh, yeah, no. I saw a lot of comments from black folks, and I was just like, "What? Y'all worried about the wrong shit?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Don't hate.
like y'all worried about the wrong shit? Like,
That man can afford all of those children.
now
Can your
is he
baby
gonna be able
daddy?
to spend
Like,
appropriate time with all of them? No. The man is an actor. Wilding out is still going on, but they'll be financially stable. Does that cure
you know,
everything? No, but
I actually think that he posted like holiday pictures with groups of them.
uh, Nick Cannon family photo.
Well, this one's interesting.
I'm only seeing him with one kid at a time. Hold on, wait a minute. I'm looking through a gallery.
Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Nick Cannon's baby mama, Alyssa Scott, has responded to his recent comments about insuring his testicles by calling him out on social media.
Yeah, I don't see
Okay,
a
so
large group
she,
picture with all the kids.
let me see.
Am I saying it doesn't exist? No. I'm just saying that from what I'm looking at currently, I don't see it.
I see a couple of them. I see a bunch.
I see one with a couple kids at a time and the mother
Well, I
of
mean,
current
but
said kid.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I would say, let's see, Nick Cannon shares Christmas photos with 9 of his 12 children.
All right, well that's something. I mean, maybe he can. I don't know. I'm not in that man's business. I salute him. I wish I wish I had the funds to have a big family and or the patience, but I don't. I don't have either of those things. Best I can
I'm
give you
gonna,
is one is what I told my mother. And I don't have one yet. And you know what? I just got done watching my nephew for the weekend. I'm in my 30s. I don't know if I want one. I don't. I bounce back and forth. I don't know.
yeah,
Kids ask way too many questions.
I wanted kids forever. Like that was my like in middle school they asked us to I don't know why they ask you in middle school, but in middle school they asked us to give them a 5, 10, 15, and 20-year plan. Like we were gonna understand.
Yeah, right.
So like my whole thing was like, all right, I'm graduating when I'm 17. So I should be I should be able to get my undergrad and stuff done by the time I'm 21. And then I want to be engaged at that point. Like the family thing was already there. Like it was part of my plan. I was like, I want to be engaged by that point. 2 years for my PhD, I'll be 23.
Engaged by 21 is nuts.
I mean, I wanted it to happen ASAP. So like 23, I'm like, all right, 23, I'll graduate, have my PhD, I can get married, I should be pregnant with my first child and getting started in my career. And I, yeah.
That's the difference between men and women. I wasn't thinking about getting married. Well, I lied. I was thinking about getting married in fucking high school. What am I saying? But after
Brian wouldn't.
the first, after the breakup, the initial breakup with my wife in high school happened. After that, I wasn't thinking about getting married for a very long time. I was too busy living my best bachelor life. Um, but yeah. So one more funny topic while let's back up off the baby stuff, and this time this one has nothing to do with Trump. So my blood pressure can come down. So I was scrolling Facebook, and for whatever reason, my algorithm will like thirst trap me. All right, and this it looks like a UFC fight until you realize that both the women are wearing lingerie, and I was like, what? So like, there's this blonde girl and this brunette girl. I guess the blonde girl was just declared the winner, and she's walking off, and this brunette in lingerie just comes up and clocks her in the back of the head and just starts punching on her, and the ref pulls her off. This, that, and the third, and I was like, am I missing something? Why are they in lingerie? So apparently there's a lingerie like UFC type fighting with like kid rules for MMA fighting. And I'm just like, why do they keep coming up with more ways to take money from men?
Because y'all are suckers.
Like, I was like, when,
I mean,
I said, when did this become a thing? And like, I'm tired of being exploited because I'm a man. I'm tired of it.
it's not even just that, right? So this is the worst part is not only is it saying that you guys are stupid but have a lot of money, or are willing to spend said stupid money,
You're willing
but
to.
it also teaches women that this is where their value comes from. And that's the tricky part with this whole balance. None of those things are good. And by the same token, I'm like, bro, if you have the money and you want to spend it, cool. And look, girl, if you really want to make your money that way, more power to you. But the problem is there's underlying root things it's doing to your mentality. Look at Britney. And that's what I would say is the problem is her value is only as much as how attractive people think she is. And that's where this whole mentality, all this toxic kind of body mentality comes from. Because that is where your value is.
Yeah, I'm more. I'm more with like. I'm more caught off by the amount of men that don't have the money that will still spend it.
Bro, so as somebody who worked on the block in Baltimore, which is a block of strip clubs, basically, it's like 2 blocks, basically, of strip clubs that on a one-way street in the middle of Baltimore that runs directly, like it's a one-way street that runs past them into the police department. It's actually kind of interesting. Lots of prostitution happens there, and I learned that when I was hired as a bartender, but was secretly a pimp apparently. So, you learn lots and lots of different things. And I watched, it was really, really hard for me to watch girls that would take advantage of lonely guys who had no money because they have drained them of everything, like every credit card maxed. The guy has no place to live, but he comes down to the bar and he has an emotional attachment with said female now. And he's like, "Hey, do you need anything? Do you need anything to eat? Can I get you food?" Right? All of those things. And she's like, "Dude, get the fuck away from me. I don't need shit. You have any money? You don't have any money to spend? Get the fuck out." I have a hard time watching that.
Yeah, I do too, and that's why I. I mean, I don't know where I was going with that particular thought just now, but I that's why I stay away from certain parts of Twitter or X rather.
It's
Like,
whatever.
because the amount of simping that I see going on in that application
Well, the problem
is,
too is those people are your prime candidates for turning incel.
yeah, yeah,
100%.
yeah, sure are.
which is what I'm waiting for with Trump, with his, the whole "My God has forsaken me" reaction.
It's never gonna happen.
With
With
some it
some,
will.
yeah, with some it
Mhm.
will, but it's never gonna happen with some also.
Too many are double downing.
But even then, it'll be too late. You already got him in office, and now we have to wait to see what the damage is gonna be. We just have to hope it's not gonna be that bad.
So, my take on that, especially as a libertarian, is there was no better person to put in office to be a wrecking ball to demolish things that we already have in place. Literally, like letting the Tasmanian devil loose in a structure you want to tear down. And unfortunately, I think that were the Democrats to stay in office, things would have just, you just kind of keep it rolling, right? Like little changes happen, but you're just trying to keep it rolling. Same things kind of keep happening. And with the Republicans, it's just pushing the cart the other way, but keeping it rolling.
Yeah.
um, but you put Trump in there, and he's a little bit of a wild card, especially with all the power he's given Elon, which it is hilarious to me that the two of them cannot see how obvious they're being to everybody else with taking advantage of the system for themselves personally while they're living in some delusion where they think that they're not.
Because
Um,
the his voters feed into the delusion. Like, dude, how are y'all not seeing? Okay, Elon becomes like some special advisor, and now some South Africans are moving into the country. Like
as
what?
refugees,
And
white people refugees.
the Latino guy that I was talking about, dude, he looked me dead in my face and said, "What could Elon possibly want from Trump other than to be a good American?" And I was like, "What?
What?
What did you just ask me?" That's what I said in my head. But this guy is also my superior, so I was still trying to remain respectful. But I was like, "What did he just ask me? Is he serious? Is power not a
Oh,
thing anymore? Are power grabs not a thing anymore? Like, what do you mean?
I
What could he
it
want?"
makes it
Ugh.
makes me wonder if they don't have the ability to see the scope of the economical benefit that they would have. Um, maybe. I don't
I
know.
was like,
Like,
and don't get me wrong, Democrats are just as guilty of this because
yeah,
they'll whoever funds their campaign, they'll do backdoor
right,
deals
whatever.
with. It's
Mhm.
happened, and I'm like, the same thing is happening with Elon, except just more blatant. Like,
Yeah. And he's already rich, so we didn't I don't know. Like and that's why libertarians will never come into power is because they won't do that shit. They don't like it. They don't believe in that kind of money. Or at least they didn't. I don't know about anymore. But
I'd say they still don't because they still ain't in power.
well, so the only reason I think I believe as like and I have a little bit of hope. Like there's a Facebook page that is posted by like, I don't know, young something for liberty or something like that. I can't remember, but Young Americans for Liberty or something like that. And it's a little extremist for me, but they do like the whole wishy-washy thing. They do like they post one thing that's praising Trump to high heaven and then they post another thing where they're really anti him and I'm like I can't handle this. I was
Very
like I said
wishy washy.
yeah, I was very fortunate that I got to speak with Spike Cohen when he was running with Joe Jorgensen and he had the ability to literally sit down and answer every question I ever had about why they thought this would work this way, why they think that their platform works this way, why they think their economic plan works this way, or their healthcare plan, or whatever else. And he explained every single thing. Even it didn't matter what devil's advocate thing I threw at him, he had an answer for me, and it was all very down to earth. And he separated himself with the party during this whole like while they were like before the election because they had Trump come speak at the Libertarian Party like convention.
Ugh.
And for him that's a cop out. Yeah. He's like, "Nah, bro."
So,
Nope.
damn it, I can't. You know what? I'm gonna go to something else real quick before I bring up my last Trump topic of the night. I hate that I keep bringing this man up, but I guess that's what tonight is. Um, so Billie Eilish has apparently won Artist of the Year at the AMAs, which I'm happy about.
Good.
Because while we're talking about uh industries making money off men being Sims, that's not what Billie Eilish does. Her music is just good. She covers herself. She's a completely humble body artist and doesn't want to be seen in an objective way, in that type of light. So she has nothing but my respect that she does not tie herself to what people think of her looks. So just wanted
Hmm.
to go ahead and give that shout out. I'm only going to bring up this topic only for a little while. And I've mentioned multiple times that I'm a part of the National Guard. My views, I got to say this out loud just so my views don't reflect the views of anybody else in the service. I am saying my own views. It's just me. And I'm not an officer. And according to what I've looked up, I can legally criticize the President of the United States. Officers are not allowed to. But, anyways, so Trump gave his commencement speech at West Point this weekend. And I had never been so mad at a commencement speech before in my life. So it wasn't a speech. Not to me, it wasn't. The speech is about an hour and a half long, so you don't. If you want to look at it later, Mindy, at some point during the week, and then get back to me about your thoughts on it, I don't expect you to look for it now because it's like an hour and 20 something minutes long. That's how long he was standing up there talking at this graduation.
I
Okay,
can't. I can't. I can't even handle the clips that I see on the news.
I wouldn't.
I'm like, I forget that this man, people listen to this man talk because I try for like 5 minutes and my brain hurts.
So he's the president of the United States. It's totally appropriate for him to give a commencement speech at the West Point Academy. Okay, he is the
Sure.
commander in chief of the military. Fine. Except he turned it into a political rally at the most apolitical place possible. And you can hear people in the background cheering. At a
Yeah.
military rally where we're supposed to be, at a military ceremony where we're supposed to be apolitical, you can hear
Well,
people in the background cheering.
I don't think that the public I don't think there's any public knowledge of that. Like when I think of the military, and this is crazy because I was in junior ROTC, but when I think of the military, I think of it as 100% a very politically swayed group of people.
We have political views individually, yes, but the military itself is supposed to be impartial to politics. It's written. There's a written rule stating we're not allowed to be in uniform at any political function whatsoever. We're not supposed. We can't support a party in. Uh, we can't support a particular party or do any of that in uniform. None of that. Nada.
Yeah.
Like we are apolitical as an organization, and we go along with whatever the commander in chief. As an organization, we go along with whatever the commander in chief orders us to do as an organization, no matter who it is. But here he is. He literally turned it into a political rally, like in the middle of this address. Basically, I'm not going to call it a speech because it was all over the place. There was no tone to this speech. It was an address. Like I was just
I,
like,
I
I,
don't expect him to talk any other way, so
I, like we've done so many things. You know how the fuck he talks. I'm not even gonna try to. It just the shit made me mad. And you bringing up the libertarian, the commencement speech you gave at the libertarian thing, it brought that up in my head, and that's why that popped up because I tried so hard to forget that I even saw that eyesore.
yeah. It's tough with that. I can't listen to him talk. I try, but I don't even think he knows what he's saying.
One day this will all just be a dream.
I think it's funny.
I don't.
I plan on remembering these unprecedented times since they keep wanting to use that. Um, because I don't want to have to repeat it. So I'm gonna remember.
Oh, I'm gonna remember it all right, but I want to remember it as a nightmare, and I'm hoping that America learns from it. We probably won't. Uh, but I also want to rub it in the faces of the ones who brought us here. Like, I hope America improves for the best, but there's a piece of me that is like, I want this to be a complete and total shit show. Because I feel like that's what it's going to turn into. Because how can all of these things turn into something good is where my brain is at. Like, I'm trying to
Because
fathom what good can come out of any of this.
because he's gonna tear down structures that we never would have been able to tear down without him, and then maybe we can rebuild better after he's gone.
The They tried to take DEI books out of the Library of Congress.
They won't disappear for good. They'll be digitized.
Do you
I
know
have
what
a
the
buddy.
Library of Congress is? You should. You've lived in that area. You live, yeah, yeah. You should. Do you know what the
I have a
Library of
friend that
Congress is?
works there. I just know that it's a
It is
library.
an archive
Basically.
of every book ever made. It's literally just where a book is sent there when it is made. That's it. They're not for actual reading. It is a literal archive.
Well, like I said, luckily, being in a digital age, most of that stuff is going to be digitized, so
But
it's going to be okay.
the balls, it's just the absolute audacity.
He fired the head librarian there.
Yes, like I don't get it. I don't get what's is taking books off of bookshelves. I'm like, this is Nazi behavior. You're trying to erase
Yeah.
books from a national archive. Well, that's literally all
Yeah.
this is, just an archive.
Because the victors write the history books.
The book still exists.
Not if you get rid of them.
They're not gotten rid of. They're still out there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, like I said, I have a friend that works there. They are still doing their battle with Trump.
It's just ridiculous. Like, why?
Oh, and there was another thing too where Elon was demanding it was like he was demanding access to like a bunch of different blueprints for innovation, like
What?
patents and things. So they had to put a cock block on that. Like I said, there are no two there we couldn't have picked two better people to just be out for themselves, like to be
Don't say we.
running our
We
country.
ain't had shit to do with this.
Well, unfortunately, we are part of this country. We are part of that collective.
I'm thinking about going to Europe. Let me not say that out loud because then they'll be like, oh, just go.
Hmm.
Oh, you're so clever. Oh my God. Why didn't I just think of that? I wonder if I put out, like, since they like, giving money to stupid things, I wonder if I put out, like, hey, Republicans, I'll move if you fund it. Like, if I put out, like, a GoFundMe to, like,
So
uproot me and my family to
let me
Europe.
let me bring up something real quick and see what your thoughts are on it. I have a Kiwi friend, so someone from New Zealand who
Uh,
make he loves creating AI video and pictures, right? I know there's a lot of controversy over that, but dude really enjoys it. Like that's why he has a 4090. Um, and I don't know. I have a mixed stance. I'm not really sure where to stand on the whole like AI stolen art things. Um, I do, however, take mild offense to the fact that he spends his time writing not only AI generated videos and photos, but AI generated music that glorifies Trump. Now, he's not a Trump supporter, it's satire.
okay.
However, it's done so thoroughly that I had talked to him about it, but like his friends are like, he's actually a Trump fan. I'm like, I don't think he is. I think he really just doesn't think he's making a difference. And I have seen these videos, and our Trumpers love them because they think they're genuine. It's all about like God saving America and through Trump, and Trump is God's champion,
I
and
need them to
you know.
stop putting God and Trump in the same fucking sentence because God has nothing to do with this. God has nothing to do with any of this right now. Um, so what part of it is that you're asking my take on it?
Is it an issue for someone to do something like that because they don't think that they are contributing to a greater problem because they just feel like they're a nobody. Nobody watches my stuff anyway, though he has thousands and thousands of views on some of them.
I was about to ask. So what? I was about to ask his view count because if you have a certain view count, yeah, it kind of might be making a difference, pal.
And so I have a tough time with it because I feel like you are contributing energy to something that people have informed you is contributing to a negative, even though your intent behind it is part of it is views, but you don't mean it.
So
But does it matter at that point that you don't mean it?
you could say he's contributing, but it's not like he contributed to Trump winning, right? Like the mindset's gonna
Maybe,
be there
maybe
without him. Like how long has he been making these videos?
since before, like like while the election was happening, before all of
Ah,
that, like when
shit.
he was in off, yeah, that's my problem.
Bruh might have contributed to him winning. I don't even know. Yeah, that actually might be a problem, especially if he's trying, especially if you think he's trying to troll people. And in fact, he's provoking them, or
He's not
uh,
even provoking them; he is validating
or
them.
validating them.
He is giving them something to rally behind.
Yeah, that might be a problem, especially if that wasn't his intent. Like that means you should stop. Like, because when I do something and the intent is the exact opposite of what I was trying to get across, I stop doing it.
Well, there was no intent besides I'm just doing it for, shits and giggles and views. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So, has
Unfortunately,
anyone
that's
talked to him about this?
all of his friends have. They are not okay with it because they know what the climate is like right now. Um,
I don't know if he's cool with losing friends because people will lose friends over politics.
they won't because they're not really any of them are in the United States. Like, some of them have like siblings or friends of siblings that are in the United States that are impacted by it, but
Okay.
they're in New Zealand. They're too far away. It doesn't really matter. The only thing that is impacted is now when they're like, "Hey, where do you want to go on vacation?" They're like, "Well, it would have been America, but not anymore."
Fair
They don't
enough.
want to come here. Now, he did come here, actually recently, and was astonished by the size of our beers.
Or are they smaller?
Much bigger here.
Really? Hmm.
Yes, but he is appalled by, uh, I think, how expensive everything is here. And I think also guilty of underestimating how large the United States is, which I think most people do if you're not from here.
Yeah. United States can eat New Zealand like I'm pretty sure 10 times,
I mean,
maybe more.
it's not like they're not well traveled, right? Like they are very well traveled. It's just the United States compared to just about anywhere else is ridiculous.
Yeah.
As a country anyway, right?
Yeah.
Like Africa's bigger, but it's a bunch of fucking countries.
Yeah.
It's not.
Africa isn't one place, which apparently Trump
Yes.
also doesn't fucking know.
So yeah, those things. Hmm.
I need that guy's contact. I'll talk to you about that offline. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and I'll share some of the stuff with you, and you can
that's
kind of
up to
take a
him
look
though.
at
I
it.
mean, I personally would be like, dude, you're literally making this worse.
I did. I did. And he said, "There's no way." And so he has talked himself into denial
What does his
about it.
comment section look like?
Trumpers. Oh, this is so beautiful. God bless you. This is
Can you link me one real
amazing.
quick?
I'm trying to find
Like, oh my god, dude. Like, do they? And see, some of y'all claim to be Christian. Do y'all realize the false worship that's going on here?
I agree with that. He's also gay. He's half white, I guess, because he's half white, half Japanese. But
Bruh, that man needs to put his computer down. Bruh, put the computer away. Stop what you're doing.
he loves it. It's his favorite thing. All right, let me see if I can find it in like a previously viewed thing. One moment. I thought I had his thing saved. I'm sure I do, but let me see if I can find history. Do 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 do
Man,
do.
listen, I'm just.
It's
I'm over America. Honestly, like I said, I want to put out a GoFundMe and be like, hey, uh, I need $8 million for me and my family to move um, somewhere else, and y'all can have this shit. And I just want to see,
it
just for shits and giggles, who would?
it will be fine later.
Yeah, okay. Until they come up with another person in the darkest timeline to take revenge out on us.
I'm still looking. Sorry, I've got to get through all my MMA stuff from when I was taking.
Sweet baby Jesus. Let's
Oh
see what
my
else. I'm gonna look through some more AMA news while you're doing that.
Give me 1 second.
Taylor didn't come to the AMAs, apparently. Apparently, there was something shocking about J Lo's performance at the AMAs.
Oh, look that up.
Did J Lo kiss somebody at the AMAs? Wait, I think that's what happened. J Lo kisses backup dancers in wild performance.
That's another one that I wonder if there's some validating things that are going on.
It might be. She has more money than me, so I can't see. I can't say if this woman. Trying to find the kiss. Where's the kiss at?
Yeah, it's tough.
I'm shocked she's still performing. Who the hell is still listening to J Lo music?
Everybody. She was doing fine until this
Is she
whole
still making music? Like, is she making new music?
until Bennifer, yes, but until Bennifer ended, she was fine. She's doing great while they were together.
Oh, there it is. Found the spice. I don't see the kiss. Where'd the kiss go? Yep, there it is. Yep, at the 4 minute and 35 mark of this one on showed on TikTok. Yes, she's kissing backup dancers and dancing really sexy and provocatively with them, and it's hilarious. I find it hilarious. This is a very sensual performance. I can't even hear the song in my headphones, but I'm wondering what. I wonder if people are going to be upset about it tomorrow. Oh, she kissed a male backup dancer too. Oh, so she kissed a man and a woman backup dancer back to back.
Who cares? Like, why is that a thing?
I don't know. I get people are just shocked. They're not. I don't think. I don't think they're mad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're making fun of it. A lot of people are laughing at it. Like, there's this video of who are these dudes from freaking is this Friends? Joey kissing that blonde girl from Friends. They're like J Lo kissing her backup dancers, and it's a gif of Joey kissing that blonde girl from Friends very awkwardly. Oh man. Honestly, I needed this. I was getting tired of talking politics, and it was making my damn brain hurt.
I cannot figure out like what order these subscribed channels are in
Oh my goodness.
for me to try to find this.
There's some people in the comments hating on her singing.
Well, well.
But yeah, the kiss itself, nah. The kisses, I should say, there's two kisses there. Was she trying to piss off Ben Affleck?
This is what I'm saying is some of it feels like
Oh, that's hilarious. Good for her. She's still fine as hell. Good lord. She's still fine. Let's see what else is streaming about the AMAs. Da, da,
sorry,
da,
give me
da.
1 second. Still trying to find it.
You're good. AMAs. What else? Jimin Wednesday. Oh no, that was a prayer.
It
Shabozi.
does make me wonder if he took it. Oh, here, let me see. It does make me wonder if he took it down.
How long ago did y'all have this conversation with him?
I've been having it over months,
Mm.
years.
So apparently the AMA is decided not to televise 90% of the major categories because none of the nominees bothered to show up. Huh. So apparently Taylor wasn't the only one missing tonight. Taylor Swift, Sabrina Carpenter, Olivia Rodrigo, Gracie Adams, and Chappelle Rowan. None of them showed up.
They say why?
No. Hmm. That is curious. Maybe we'll find out why in the next couple of days. I'm gonna keep my eye on that one.
When was it? When were the AMAs?
Tonight.
Oh, it's like now.
I'm pretty sure they're already over. I think they're over.
Oh,
Huh.
interesting.
Yeah, it didn't say why any of those people didn't bother to show up. I'm curious.
Or they were all together and
They're saying
something
a
was
lot of
going on.
A-list celebrities didn't show up.
Is there a boycott for some reason?
I don't think so. I think I don't know. Like Billie Eilish was there, but that's the only
Well, she
big
was
name
winning
that I'm
something.
seeing. Yeah, but you don't know if you win until they announce your name, right?
I guess. I don't know. Do they let you know ahead of time?
I always thought
Hey,
they
you need to
found
be
out at
there
the
for
show.
something. Oh, I would hope so, but don't know.
Janet Jackson did a performance. Hmm.
I am trying to see if I can't even find the original links to these things. I got Brian looking too, because he's seen them. Oh God. But I can send you at least some of the imagery that he has in some of these videos. Because he did send me some of those and those that I have.
So Gracie Adams actually won an award and she wasn't there to accept it.
I thought this was hilarious. This one was. I was like, you got to include that one, because that's accurate.
Oh,
Except
what the?
should have been her.
All right,
Should have
I'm
been.
already done. I don't even want to see the videos. I need you to get me in touch with Homeboy though, because I got an actual like productive job for him instead of trolling America with Trump God videos. Jesus.
It's special. We've just gone through a lot of I don't know. He really likes this angel thing.
I hate AI right now. Stop sending me this. She's sending me photos of Trump with angels surrounding him, and it's making me mad.
One of them, he's got his hand on her boob, and I was like, that's accurate. That's like the only accurate one.
Please tell me that's in one of the videos these people are praising Trump for.
I don't know. I can't remember. Oh, here we go. Got it. Finally. Fudge. Okay. Where is
I'm
it's
almost afraid to watch this. I actually won't even be able to hear it because I still need to figure out what's up with my volume
here,
settings
I'll
of
just share
videos.
the channel. I'll share the channel.
Actually, share it to me and I'll watch it on my phone.
Wait, why did it do that? I'll share it to you where? Does it matter?
To my DMs. Just share it to my DMs and I'll look it up on my phone.
All right. Wait, why does it keep sending this? I just
Why do
want to.
you keep stop sending me that?
There you go.
I'm not gonna listen to the whole thing. I'm just gonna.
There. Oh God, he just put one out 2 weeks ago. I told you, it's still going.
I'm almost afraid to click one of these. I'm gonna click one and let my viewers listen to it. Let's see what you talk about.
24,000 views.
24,000. Yeah, he's influencing someone. Someone is being influenced. Let's just go with God is saving America.
Hold on, I'll give you the one with. You can watch them with 24,000 views. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one's only got 133. Where's the one with 24,000?
The God is Saving America one is new because that's 2 weeks ago. So that's
Stay
the one that
strong.
he's
Our
been
time
working
comes.
on.
Here we go.
Our time is coming. The form the tsunami thing.
Yeah. How could he possibly think someone's going to interpret this as satire?
Exactly. So go ahead and peruse the comments.
I am, and I'm afraid to say some of this out loud. One comment says, I have tears of hope. Please, God, shield our President Trump and our world from the forces of evil. This is 8 months ago.
Yeah, this is during our election, right? So the part of the lyrics were any silenced vote,
This was so
right,
good I
drags us
cried.
from hope.
Oh my
This is
God.
what I'm saying, bro. And so he doesn't think he's making a difference, and I'm like, you do no good.
Bro, are you kidding? He needs to stop this. This man needs to be stopped. He's literally making more of them.
Because it gets him clicks, and this is the problem.
And you know what's even worse? This video is actually good.
I know. He really enjoys making them. And so I'm always torn. I'm like, look, the video is really good. I just really wish you'd change your content. He's like, but if I change the content to like things that are actually about good things, nobody's gonna click on them.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. You could have made these for Kamala.
Kamala.
Kamala, sorry, dang. Kamala. You could have made these for Kamala. Or Bernie Sanders. You could have made these for anybody else. Like, this isn't satire, my good friend. You are literally inspiring these people. Trump for people. I love it.
Okay,
Who
so
enjoyed the
his
song? Another amazing song to listen to. Thank you for the good work. Oh my God. I mean, the song is good. Um,
the song in his recent one is really, really good. And I remember him showing me like the first 20 seconds because it took him a while to get through the first 20 seconds, right? Like, so he is using AI to create the images and the entire video and the music. He's writing the lyrics. But he is using AI to create the music and sing it and everything.
oh my God.
He has 726 subscribers, and I guarantee you the majority of those are people that don't know him.
Yeah. Like, how many people does he know? Like,
I mean, I know more
actually
people than
know.
that. I know
Oh,
more people than that. So,
I've probably met more people than that, but I don't actually know them. But yeah, your homeboy need to stop. This is crazy. I'm not even saying his name on my podcast because just in case this does blow up one day, I don't want to help be responsible for spreading this.
he's like, I
Like,
made a Trump video. Hopefully, it makes him feel better following the attempted assassination. If you have contact details, can you please forward it to him?
oh my God. Okay, all right. Well, that just made me sick to my fucking stomach for the night. Everyone, I want to thank y'all for once again coming to another The Scene podcast with Jake and Mindy, my sounding board. And we appreciate y'all's attention, whoever stuck in there. Mindy, are you watching the stream currently?
No, it's too delayed.
So somebody's watching it.
Could be Brian. Don't
Probably
know.
Brian. I think if Sil was in here, she probably left. But yeah, I want to thank y'all once again for watching. Um, and hanging in there with us through all the conversations. And we'll be back Wednesday. Or I'll be back Wednesday. I don't know about Mindy. I don't know what she's got going on this week, but I will be back Wednesday. And we'll see you then. Have a good night.